Really excited about today's episode on the Biz Talk. We're taking a customer call. She actually DM'd me and said she's having real issues building a clientele. We're going to explore what her challenges are and hopefully offer some solutions right now on the Biz Talk. Hear it? Cool.
Hello.
Taylor.
Hey, Habib, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing? I'm here with Tracey Ryerson as well.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Tracey. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for actually doing this. This is kind of the first time we're actually having somebody call in to the Biz Talk. It's really nice to meet you. I know you DM'd me, and I really appreciate you participating.
Oh, of course. I'd love to. I figured this would be an awesome way to get me some help, but you never know. It could help somebody else who is in like a similar situation that I am too.
Yeah, 100%. It actually is going to help a lot of people. I think, typically we go on here and we get questions, and it's hard without any context to actually understand what's going on. This is a great situation where we can ask you direct questions about what's happening. So give us a little bit of a kind of backstory real quick on you. How long ago did you start, getting your license, and where are you today? What are the challenges you're having?
Sure. So originally I'm from Las Vegas.
Okay.
And so back when I was, I'm going to say 18 or 19, so I think this was around 2014, I started going to school. And at the time, I unfortunately had to drop out temporarily due to medical issues. But then I started at the new school where I had graduated from, which was Academy of Hair Design,
Okay.
which I absolutely adored it. So really quickly after that, I had gotten my license, started working a little bit, started working in the salon industry. And what was difficult about it at first is that being in Vegas, there's a lot of, I really don't like to use this term that often, but kind of like the chop shop type situation, or just, the quick in and out, cheap, easy way, which,
walk-in
a lot
salons.
of yeah, exactly. So trying to work around that, I felt was a bit difficult. And now here we are, 2019. I'm living up in Spokane, Washington now, and it's still a similar situation. But my big issue now is fighting around the demographic of uneducated customers or clients.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of them. I'll go up to people and say, hey, I like your nails, and like the new Biz Talk you guys were recently discussing was like saying, hey, go up to somebody, offer them a free set, kind of the model call for Instagram and everything. And the answer I've been getting recently was gel vitamin-infused powder.
Right.
And
right.
Trying to explain that that's not a thing is very difficult. And they're just like, I know you're a nail tech, but I know better. And so really trying to get around that resistance is really difficult. And even right when I moved here, I was actually a store manager for Salo beauty supply for a really long time. And that was something I discovered too. Like this lady was like, oh yeah, I want to come in here and buy this gel infused powder. And I was like, I want to let you know, hey, I've been a nail tech for, I think 5 years at this point. If you don't mind, I want to educate you. And she's like, yeah, totally. And I explained to her the difference between like hard gel dip powder and polymer monomer. And she's like, that's not correct because I just paid to have this done.
Yeah. Well,
and all I can really do is have a smile on my face and let it go, you know? So that's definitely a big thing right now.
Well, let me ask you this question. Where are you? So that's all really interesting. And we'll be able to kind of like get into that, like how to deal with that. But where are you right now as far as clientele? Like how many clients do you have currently? And are you're no longer at Sally's, or you're full-fledged like in the salon? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Are you booth rent, or are you in a commission scenario?
Actually, what's a little bit different is once I left Valley Beauty Supply, I went to a salon and started doing commission, and then I tried booth rental, which neither one was working out for me.
Okay.
And a lot of my clientele, which is very small, I think I do like 5 clients a week or something like that, so very minimal.
Okay.
And a lot of my clientele is actually much older. Because the demographic of the city is kind of the college town feel, but it's also like a lot of older retired.
Sure.
So a lot of them are like, you know what, I don't feel up to traveling. You know, a lot of people with health issues, this and that. So recently I worked with State Board of Cosmetology to actually, Spokane County to get my traveling business license, as well as get an extra room in my house that I have just set up as like a miniature salon, just to make people more comfortable.
Sure.
Which seems to help my clientele a little bit, because people are like, oh, heck yeah, I don't have to travel. That's great. But is it helping as much as I thought it would? Not particularly.
How much time has it been from when you got your license and like now in this process of building a clientele? How much time has that been?
Well, since you've lived in Spokane,
or even Vegas?
Living in Spokane, it's starting in Vegas because I got my license in 2014,
okay.
And now it's 2019, and I got all my licensing here in Spokane, I think about 6 months ago.
Okay.
So that's how long it's been so far.
Okay, there. Okay. So I'm going to let Tracey sort of tackle this first. I have some thoughts and ideas and some other questions, but just off the top of your head, Trace, what are you thinking in terms of, she's been out the 6 months in Spokane, she gave us the demographics. What are some things?
Let me ask you this, Taylor. How was it in Vegas? How was your clientele in Vegas?
You know what? Kind of the same thing. Not very good. I was very lucky because most of my family and a lot of my friends live there. So that was a good chunk of my clientele, thankfully. But it felt like just getting new clients in the door, just, being the new nail tech, nobody really wants to come to you.
Right.
And,
but you do good
every
nails.
few months I give one.
You do very good.
We are looking at your Instagram and as I scroll down and I was showing Tracey before we called you, your work is solid.
That's the first thing, whenever someone says they're having issues, first thing we do is we kind of look at the nails to see what's going on. You have a very good understanding of nails, and your brow game is really, really on point, by the way.
Should I go to her?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay.
Help him.
I'm going to book an appointment, Taylor.
He's going to fly out. We're going to fly him out, actually. I'll pay for it. So that's really good. And I will say that, 6 months, if you're saying you have about 5 people a week, so it averages about 20 clients, right? Is that what you're saying, or 10?
Yeah, somewhere in there, maybe even toward the 15 range. It just kind of depends, because there's and with being Spokane, this little odd town, because I'm kind of like on the border of Idaho, and some of my clients actually live, 50 minutes out from me in Idaho, so a lot of them I won't actually see more than once a month,
No,
so that's just kind of the situation.
I'm familiar with the Washington area. I've lived in a lot of places in Washington.
Awesome.
So I understand where you're coming from on that. Let me also ask, so I see that you do acrylics.
I do.
Do you offer, what else do you offer?
I do also offer hard gel. Now, I consider my bread and butter to actually be hard gel. It's what I'm most comfortable with. Okay. But once I moved up here, I really, I try to get some of my clients to switch over that I felt would do better. Like, I have a couple of clients that are hairdressers, for example, and especially with them being in water, hard gel definitely holds up better on them. But a lot of my clients are kind of old school, and they're just like, nope, I'm not switching. And I said, hey, that's okay.
So you
I
have the skill. Like, you can do hard gel if a client needs.
You can offer what the client needs. That's perfect.
Perfect.
So,
absolutely.
And we're going to ask a lot of questions. Sorry, we're just. It really helps us out to get the full picture. Let me ask you, how many hours a week are you dedicating to the salon?
However much I need to. And when I say that, I really sure do mean that, because a lot of the time is when, for example, like if I know I have one client for sure coming to see me that day, I will hang out in my nail suite all day long and do nothing but work sometimes. So, meaning that I'll practice my nail art, I'll practice my sculpting. Funny enough for me, sculpting is way more easier to do than tips. So a lot of the time I'm trying to practice working with tips, trying to work with stuff that I'm super unfamiliar with, or just trying new nail art stuff that I see. And, usually I'm in my nail suite 6 hours before my client even gets here. And if my client's in here, I'll do them. And by the time they leave, I'm back at it again.
So Taylor, here's something that is, okay, like, I think we've narrowed down, okay, it's not your skill. Okay. It's not, like, looking at this, it's not your skill. You're putting in work in the salon. You're at the salon. That's awesome. I think you can do gels as well. So you can offer both services, which means that if somebody walks in the door, you're not missing that opportunity. Exactly. But the question that I have, okay, and this is something you've got to really be honest, okay, this is the biggest part, is you've got the technical part down. You do very nice work, okay, and you've built your skill level. But how much time are you actually dedicating to building your actual business? And what I mean by that is, like, the distribution and exposure of your work. So let me just, before you answer, let me just say this, okay? Here at Young Nails, we create content daily, massive amounts of content, right? On YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all these different platforms. That's the first part for us, is the creation of it. The second part is getting that content out to the world, okay? Because it can't just live on my feed. If it just lives on my feed, not a whole lot is going to happen. We have to actually drive it. We do that through advertising, Facebook, Instagram advertising, to get our work out there to drive business. But and that requires money. But if I didn't have the money, what would I be doing? I'm not kidding you. I would be on IG. I'm already on IG like 7 hours a day, but I would be on there focusing on the distribution of our brand. Okay. And you can do that in multiple ways, but how much time are you actually out there, like, hustling, hitting the floor, getting to know your community, networking with other businesses in the area, and then also putting in the hours in Instagram, location type of marketing to get your brand out in the market?
Sure. And you know what, now that you actually kind of point that out, the more I think about it, it's a little difficult to say. Instagram has been the hard one for me, sure, because sometimes I feel like I may post a lot, but, generally looking at, the Young Nails account or like another nail tech account, I know I definitely don't post as much. For me, a lot of my advertisement goes into, usually I'm out of my house every day, and I always have my phone number, I always have business cards, and, my Instagram handle's right on my business card too. So a lot of the time, if I see somebody at the store, usually I'm not afraid to walk up to people.
I love it.
So I'll go up to people and be like, hey, here's my business card. I think you're awesome. Come see me. Maybe we'll work out a discount for nail art or something, just to try and get a move.
But, like, literally what I would do if I were you, Taylor, honestly, I would say I would be like 100 people a week. I would tell myself this. I'm not kidding you. This is what I do. Like, in the process of building Young Nails, like, we've literally had to set these, like, targets of, like, I'm going to hit as many people as humanly possible. And then maybe I'll get one client out of that 100. I would literally say, in any downtime that I have, I'm going to hit 100 people, and I'm going to count them every week. And I'm going to approach them in my community. I'm going to hand out a business card with my IG handle and say, check out my work, come in for a free evaluation, or even, whatever you want to do on that side. That's kind of a second part conversation of, like, from where do you go after you give them a card. But that's what I really believe is required. And if you do that for the next 6 months, oh my God, there's no way you're not going to be busy, because you've got the work. Okay. You offer both gel and acrylic, and it's just brows, the numbers and the brows too. Oh my God. You have multiple skills and talents here. There's no reason, Taylor, why you shouldn't be crushing it right now in the salon in Spokane. There's no reason. Honestly, I'm telling you that.
One more question too. So you said you're in a suite?
Correct. Yes, because like I mentioned, a lot of my clientele is older. So what I did, I have like this extra room in my house. So I worked with skateboard and cosmetology, to make sure everything checked out. But like I have this little suite essentially in the back of my house just for nail stuff. Nothing else. Nobody else goes in there except me and my client. Just more for comfortable for them, essentially.
Sure.
So I tried that because, I realized I was definitely not making enough money to hold booth rent.
Sure.
And, surprisingly, I thought I'd do way better on commission because I was like, oh, yeah, people are going to walk in and out all day, which really didn't happen either. So this seems to be a little bit better, but I do totally agree with you. I think counting up to like 100 people, because sometimes, there was like a week where I got to like 50 or 60 people, and people would call me, not book me, but they definitely called me. So I could definitely see where it has the benefit of doing that more often.
It's a volume game. It's just a volume. I mean, any business, and Tracey can give you other tips, salon specific, but from a business perspective, Taylor, I promise you, it is a numbers game. And it's all like the first thing that we try to look at is the skill there? Because that can contribute to not building a clientele if your nails are not lasting or they're falling off. I don't think you got that problem. Plus, on top of that, and I can hear in your voice too, you sound very confident. So if for you, it's a numbers game, it's just focus on, for me, what I would say to you is, I'm telling you right now, I would be on the hustle and on the freaking move. And I would be full of energy, which I'm not no shortage of that here, but I would literally with full of energy and enthusiasm, I would wake up every day and I would look at my schedule and go, okay, I got 2 clients today. And for 4 hours, I'm going to hit the road, or I'm going to spend 1 hour on IG, and I'm going to do location marketing. If you go back to our last Biz Talk video, you'll see I talk about how to do location marketing. We can even talk about that in more detail off camera. If you want some tips there, I can help you there. But you've got to spend time on distribution. You know what I'm saying? Tracey, what do you think?
I will say now in Washington or in the States, it's a little less common to have a home salon. Some people do it once they've built a clientele and, it's the convenience of being home. Some states don't even allow it. Obviously, Washington's one state that does. I hear more internationally, that's a little more common. I would say that it's probably going to be harder for you to build a clientele
with a home salon.
Just because it can be off-putting for some people that are just calling in and saying, come to my house. It's a little right. It's a little different. And also having the surrounding of other, just having the surrounding of other hairdressers, nail techs, things like that. When you're building, it's kind of, it's encouraging.
Yeah.
First of all, and it's important, and you can feed off of them. You feed off the hairdressers, and they're right there. So the person that can literally, that's getting their hair done, sees the nail person working. Like you said, you do a lot of practicing, which is amazing. And they can go, what are you doing? Or browse. There's so much money to be made in both. So if you have both of those things and you're in a salon atmosphere, I would say you're going to be able to grow your clientele much faster. Then my second part would be asking about pricing, where, sometimes when we're trying to build, we can actually price ourselves out of the game.
Way too much.
We try to, we start going, hey, I'm working at home, so I don't want to charge as much, so, and then it can go, it actually works against us in the fact that people go, she's just too cheap. Maybe she's not that great.
What is your pricing, Taylor?
Yeah. Sure. So usually for a full set or hard gel or acrylic, I don't charge extra for either or. I do start at $55.
Okay. Solid.
For that. And my sales are usually about $40.
Cool.
Okay.
I think that's
solid.
Really, really good.
So that's not an issue there.
And for the work that you're doing here, because you've got nail art, you've got ombres, you've got I think here there's some marbling you're doing. You're not just doing standard work. You're able to kind of branch out. I think that's solid. Yeah.
I would say, Taylor, if you can, and I know that you've built your nice little suite now, if you can really look for that perfect opportunity while you're still working at home, but start digging, start looking for that perfect marriage, with talking to someone that owns a salon and they're looking for someone and they have that perfect spot. What's nice is you're not desperate to find a spot. So this gives you time to look for the perfect spot. If you can do that and do exactly what Habib's saying about posting more, doing all the stuff that's hustle, marketing yourself, you're right. 6 months, I can see
I'm
you
telling
explode.
you.
Your work is good.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
thank you.
And that's the thing, Taylor, is there's I always look at it like this. Okay, if I dropped, Tracey in anywhere in the United States, literally anywhere in the United States,
I tried. You try to ditch me all the
we
time.
We just might do it anyway because I'm getting tired of her. But it literally, if like pretty much like 99% of the locations, obviously there's maybe some random spot in the country
Sheep
that
Ranch,
might not
California.
work.
That's where my family's from. Population 65 people.
Okay, maybe that one. But I always look at it and go, I know Tracey would find a way to build, right? She's got the skill, obviously. She's got the knowledge, the experience. But the one part that Tracey has is that she's got that every single day, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go get it. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds simple. It is not. It is the hardest thing to do is day after day after day after day.
Absolutely.
Is to go find let me try to get one client this week. 100 people I'm going to hit up. Let me see if I can get 5 phone calls to call me back and maybe one client. Or it might take 300 people and you get one client. I don't know what that magic number is. I don't think it'll be that high, but it's that consistency in I'm not going to stop until I literally can't do this anymore because I'm booked and all my time is spent on my clientele. Does that make sense?
I have one last question too. What's your retention? Once you get someone in the door, do you keep them?
Great question.
Absolutely. I will say that is the best thing that I've been so lucky in is, the only time I've lost clients is, obviously when I moved from Vegas up to Spokane. Yeah. But a lot of my clients even down there were so loyal to me. They're like, nope, I'm not going anywhere until you visit.
Sign,
so I'm just going to go home and visit. Yeah, I have to take my stuff with me.
Says a lot.
Yeah,
that means you're just right there. You're right there.
You're so close. Yeah. It's like you're so close. Keep just, what we talked about. Do these things. I'm telling you. And then I would love to, talk to you again in 6 months and see where you're at. But if you put a plan together and you put that hardcore hustle and grind behind it and really get that distribution on both social media as well as your ground game, going out and networking with other businesses or, communicating with women that are in positions to give your nails exposure, and you're literally targeting 100 people. What's it called? I would go 100 people a week or whatever that number is. I don't remember what I said, but it's an insanely high number. I forget things really quick.
He said 100 people a second.
100 people a second. If you're approaching, I would go big and I just wouldn't stop. So if you do those things, because everything else is there, you've got the foundation, Taylor. So I would say, look, keep, don't stop. You're very, very close. Keep that going. And then let's check in and again in 6 months. Does that work for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, Taylor. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate you calling us in. This was awesome. I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Actually, yeah, because, even going back through all the Biz Talk videos I watched, granted, a lot of it's helped me, but I think getting something a little more personalized was so helpful.
Of course.
Because you could say, hey, hit up Instagram all you want, but maybe being this specific toward people will definitely make a big difference.
Yeah, it absolutely will. That was a lot of fun for us.
It was great.
It was really, really cool.
It was great.
Thank you, Taylor. And I'll check in with you shortly, actually. I'll give you a buzz right after we wrap this up. Does that work?
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Have
Taylor.
a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you have it. What a great
amazing
session that was. You know what I mean? And I swear to God, a lot of times it comes down to just like the simple things, right? She's got it all.
She really does.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody thinks
I know
there's you're money hungry, Tracey. But I just love when I see someone that not only can make a lot of money doing nails. I mean, her brows is a huge industry right now.
Massive.
She can make a lot of money doing that. I mean, she's really on that right at the door of having a extremely good career.
Right. And it's interesting you say money hungry. There might be one or two people that have mentioned that, but you know what?
I'm just about supporting my family. That's all I'm about.
Well, no, but let's just really quick, a quick aside here. This is business.
Yeah.
Without making money, you die.
It's true.
No, it is true. And look, I'm not about, money,
Yeah.
but I'm about running a good business.
Exactly.
And part of that is
Supporting your
pricing.
family.
Part of that is making sure that the company drives revenue. And as a salon owner or a individual nail technician,
You got to be looking at
you've got to
that.
do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, awesome session.
Love it.
With that, we'll close it and just want to say thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Biz Talk.